Welcome everybody. Welcome to White City Place Connect, where we're offering occupiers of White City Place a live platform from which to learn and engage from the comfort and safety of your own homes. My name's Dora. For those of you who don't know me, you're all very, very welcome. We're going to begin our lunchtime session on our backs today. All you'll need is a mat. So come to lie down. Feet can be hip distance apart. Or you might want to wiggle the feet to the outer edges of your mat and let the knees fall towards one another. When the heels are a little bit wider than the sit bones, it affords a little bit more space in the sacrum and the back bowl of the pelvis, so that can feel nice. You don't need to use any muscular effort to hold your knees together, so if they spring slightly apart, then just allow that to happen. Your arms down by your sides, palms facing the ceiling. Lengthen through the back and sides of the neck. And travel your awareness up the back of the skull, over the crown of the head, softening the face down from the hairline to the chin. Allowing the eyelids to close over the eyes and the gaze to turn inwards and downwards towards the heart space. Have a sense of the back body spreading. The front body softening. Notice any parts of your body that you may be holding. If you're propping yourself up in some way, maybe the shoulders, maybe the muscles of the face, and the pelvic bones become a little heavier, soles of the feet relaxed, spreading and softening into the earth. Begin to deepen and lengthen the breath. When we breathe more deeply, we sensitize ourselves. We literally feel more. We're trying to control a circumstance, a person, a place, or a thing in our lives, or even our own thoughts and emotions. We tend to breathe up into the chest. The breath becomes shallow in an attempt to resist what is. So as we breathe deeply, as we move and we create space in the body, this may evoke an emotional response. Not necessarily, and it's not something that we're aiming for or trying to achieve. This sometimes happens. Let's allow the knees to move apart and wiggle the feet so they're hip distance apart now. Imagining you had a rolling pin moving through your hip bones and you've got two handles either side. Imagining you were rolling the handles forward, what would happen to the pelvis? The tailbone starts to drop, the lower back arches. If you were to roll the handles towards you, the lower back flattens and the tailbone lifts a little. Continue with this. So this visualization, this analogy of rolling the handles means that this tipping of the pelvis is instigated from this point. Notice if the feet are involved in achieving this action. So maybe you feel a lightness on the feet as the tailbone drops down. Maybe you gently use the feet. There's a little bit more weight or density to the feet as you tip the tailbone up. Can you be aware also of the ripple effect up through the spine, how the chest becomes involved and eventually the head and the neck. Settle your pelvis somewhere between these two tipping points. Interlace your fingers and hover the hands above the solar plexus. Elbows are lifted, arms are off the floor. Turn the palms away and reach your arms up and over onto the floor behind you. They may not come all the way. It's fine if they're hovering. And again, notice how the rib cage is lifted and flared outwards as a result of raising the arms by the ears. Wiggle the feet together and stretch your legs forward, flexing your feet as if you're pushing the wall in front of you away. Can you stretch equally through the front, back, and sides of your body? Sliding the heels back to the floor. That might have come with you there. Separate the feet hip distance apart. And we'll take that tilting of the pelvis once again. Tailbone comes to the floor. Lower back arches. Maybe the hands come a little bit further towards the earth. As you go the other way, chin to chest. Arms may float off a little bit. Instigating that movement from the pelvic bowl, as we did before. You can imagine those handles, but noticing now how the arms may drift off a little bit and drop down. Settle into neutral, wiggle the feet together and stretch your legs forward once again, flexing your feet, spreading your toes. Stretching out equally through front, back and sides of the body. So if you're quite flexy in the back, you may notice that you overstretch at the front, shorten and harden in the back of the body. Each action is a counter action. Engage your core by drawing the navel towards the spine, narrowing the pelvic bones towards one another. And as you inhale, slide the heels up, draw the heels up the mat, heels to sit bones, stretch your legs towards the ceiling. If you need more support, you could bring your arms down by your sides for this. Exhale, heels to sit bones, sliding the legs away. Inhaling, dragging the heels towards the sit bones, stretching the legs up. Exhale, heels to sit bones, stretch the legs forward. And again, inhaling. Exhale. Inhale, heels to sit bones, knees come to the chest. Slip the interlaced hands over the front of the knees. Lengthen through the back of the neck. As you inhale, the legs are going to stretch forward into space. Maybe they're about a 45-degree angle. If it's too much for your lower back, a little bit higher. As you exhale, hug them in. Inhaling. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Interlacing the hands just over the front of the right knee. Left leg extends towards the ceiling. Lower your heel to the floor. Land it gently in line with the sit bone. Soften the top of your left thigh from the knee to the crease of the hip. Soften the shoulders, face and jaw. Bring your knee towards the tip of the shoulder and place the crook of your elbow around the knee. Knee presses out towards the elbow. Left elbow moves across in the opposite direction. And there's a lengthening forward through the top of your left thigh. A three-way stretch here.
How can you balance this stretch 3 ways? If you tend to pull and push your body around in your yoga practice, can you soften about 5 or 10% of your effort? Finding that edge between effort and force. Yoga is never a forcing situation. Bring your knee back to the center. Drag your left heel up and slip the knees underneath the hands. Interlace the hands over the front of the left knee. Stretch your right leg up towards the ceiling. Lower the leg down, landing the heel lightly in line with the sit bone. Soften the skin of that left thigh down from the knee to the hip. Making space between each toe. Face, jaw and throat relaxed. Turn the knee out towards the tip of the left shoulder. Thigh moves outside of the body. Crook the elbow around the outer knee. Hands are hovering above the solar plexus. Knee presses out towards the elbow. The right elbow counterbalances that by drawing in the opposite direction, lengthening through the front of your right thigh. Equal 3-way stretch, which may evolve. So we stay present to the little counter actions, the balancing actions required to find balance, which changes from moment to moment. Balance, that elusive thing that we find and then we lose it again. Interlacing the hands over the knee as you draw it back to the center. And sliding that right heel back up the mat. We're going to take the hands behind the backs of the thighs and rock ourselves up to seated. Feet are hip distance apart. Maybe reach your sit bones back a little bit. So you've got a slight forward nutation in the pelvis. Interlacing the hands so they're just hovering above the solar plexus. Wrapping and zipping up through your core. We're going to lean back with a flat back. Think of lifting up and ever twisting over to the left. And we're not moving the elbows around so much here. So we're twisting from the chest, leaning back, breathing. Keep the inner edges of your feet grounded, coming back, lifting up and over to the other side. So the heart is turning rather than yanking the elbows around. Inner edges of your feet, pads of your toes stay grounded. Coming back, turning the palms away, rising up towards the fronts of your sit bones. Lower your chin towards your chest. Squeeze the elbow points towards one another. Wiggle your feet together and start to roll yourself down. Stretching the legs long. Maybe little finger edges of the hands come to the floor behind you. Or arms down by your sides for more support. Equal stretch. Front, back and sides of the body. Drag your heels towards your sit bones, and as you inhale, float the legs up. Exhale, heels to sit bones, stretch the legs forward. 2 more times, inhaling. Strong core to protect your lower back. 1 more time, inhaling. Exhaling. Inhale, heels to sit bones. Slip the interlaced hands over the fronts of the knees or the shins. Legs floated to space, arms come up and over. Inhale. Exhale, lift head and shoulders off the floor. Cheeks to knees. Curl yourself into a little seed. Inhaling. Exhaling. Inhale. Exhale. Release the head to the floor. Slip the hands behind the backs of the knees. Rock yourself up to seated. Curl the shins around and come over onto your hands and your knees. Taking your right hand in line with your right knee, extend your left leg out, tucking the toes. As the left heel comes to the floor, you might want to let your right toes drag back a little bit, like a little kickstart. Left hand comes onto the hip. Base of the skull in line with your tailbone. Soften the supporting elbow, shifting the weight over and raising up that left leg. And point the foot today and flex the toes back. So half pointed, half flexed foot. And lift away from the earth. Shorten the space between your navel and your pubic bone. And you lift your heel and let the big toe joint rotate down without allowing the hip to move too much. It's a rotation from the top of your thigh bone. That isn't actually just the foot moving. Either way, the heel drops down behind you, big toe joint lifts. Lift the heel, big toe joint rotates down, thigh bone is extending out to the socket. Heel drops down, big toe joint lifts. Take the foot back to the floor, take the hand to the floor, swivel yourself around to face the short edge of the mat, back toes are tucked. Hands underneath the shoulders, press vertically down. Lift the right thigh towards your belly. Lift the shin a little bit higher. Press the earth away from you. Keep breathing. Slide the right leg back into a high plank. Lower your knees. Bring your chest and forehead to the floor. Take your shoulders forward a little bit first. Elbows bend. Slide the belly and the legs away from you. Reaching your toes away, lengthening through the inner seam of your legs. All 10 toenails on the floor. That's the intention. Bury the pubic bone. Let's roll the shoulders a few times. I'm lifting my head off the floor. So I get a bigger rotation, creating a little bit of heat in the shoulder joints. Super gluing the hands to the floor. Big juicy circles. The shoulder blades draw down the back, lengthen your heart forward into space. Take the hands back if necessary. Push back onto hands and knees. Tuck your toes and float into an easy down dog. Let's down dog. Could create some movement, bending one knee and then the other. Easing into the tissues in the backs of your legs. Achilles tendons roll into the bones of your feet, 26 bones in each foot. And then lowering your knees to the floor, keeping your toes tucked, sit down onto the heels. Make this active, so the heels are flopping out. Squeeze them in towards the midline. Have your outer shins, outer thighs towards your midline. Spine is lengthening. Forearms squeeze towards one another. Head just floating off the floor. Push the palms down and forward to anchor your hips a little more. Imagine your shrink wrapping your skin around your bones. Come up onto hands and knees. I'm going to turn around, so facing one another. Take the left hand in line with the knee. Extend your right leg, tucking the toes. Spin the heel to the floor. Left shin might kick back a little bit, so you've got a bit more ability to balance, a bit more surface space. Right hand onto the hip. Base of the skull in line with your tailbone. Shift the weight over as you raise up the leg. Point the foot, flex the toes back. Connect between the navel and the pubic bone. Start to lift the heel. Big toe drops down, but this hip bone stays lifting up. Heel drops down behind you. Big toe joint lifts. Maybe you feel the glutes switching on. Heel lifts, big toe joint rotates down. Heel drops down, big toe joint rises, thigh bone extending out of the socket. Take the foot to the floor, take the hands to the floor, swivel yourself around. Push the earth vertically down, wrists underneath the shoulders. Lift the thigh, lift the shin a little high away from the earth. Keep breathing. Step back into a high plank. Lower your knees, shoulders forward, chest and forehead. Slide the belly and the legs away. Inner big toes reaching back. Roll the shoulders just once this time as the shoulder blades draw down the back. Little baby cobra. And push into the hands. Back onto hands and knees. Tuck your toes. Downward facing dog. Couple of breaths here. You can be still with your breath. You can make some little movements to find length and space between each vertebra. And bending your knees a little bit, walk your hands back towards your feet. Letting yourself hang, feet a good hip distance apart. Let your head hang off your spine. Slide the hands onto the tops of the feet. As you slide the hands halfway up the shins, extend through the front, back and sides of the body towards the shoulder blades up the back. Pressing gently away from the shin bones. Imagine there was a sofa behind you to sit down onto as you slip the elbows onto the thighs, palms into prayer. Press the thigh bones away, backwards, softening into the groins. Wrap and zip up through your core to float the elbows off the thighs, thumbs to the heart. And press down through the feet as you come all the way up to standing. I'm going to turn myself around towards the short edge of the mat. Palms in prayer, feet hip distance apart. Reaching your prayer above the crown of your head as you inhale. Elbows stay narrow, drop the thumbs onto the spine. Try not to crane the head forwards and actively pressing the back of your skull towards your wrists. Inhale, reaching up, take the hands a little bit further forward so you could look up without dropping the head all the way back. Heart is reaching up vertically, so it becomes a little essence of a back bend. Thumbs to the heart, start to come forward, supporting your sternum with your thumbs, and release the fingertips to the floor. Stepping back with your left toes into your lunge. Lowering your back knee down onto the earth. Float your right arm up into a twist, looking up towards the thumb. And fingertips come inside of the foot. Again, like a little kickstart, swivel your back shin around so it's parallel to the top edge of the mat. Raising up your left arm. Maybe the hands come into prayer, so the right elbow comes inside of the knee, reaching, lifting the heart towards the tips of the fingers. Opening up once again. And releasing both fingertips either side of the front foot. Pivot on the back knee. Back toes tuck, walk the hands back underneath the shoulders. Lift the front toes, belly lengthens over the thighs. Over the thigh. Give a little bend in the knee so as not to overstretch the ligament behind the knee or the ligament in the glute. Ligaments have very little stretch in them. They're there to support your joints. Walking your foot back. Lift the back knee. Slide that front foot back into a high plank. You could take a chaturanga up dog if you want to up the ante a little bit, or stay with me, lowering the knees, chest and forehead, slide the legs away. Baby Cobra, lift the navel, tuck the toes, downward facing dog. Soften the elbows sideways a little. Turn your tricep muscles towards one another. Outer edges of your shoulder blades wrapping around the side body. Floating your right leg up behind you. Step the foot forward in between the hands. Come onto the fingertips as you press down to create a little bit of uplift. Right hand comes to the inside of the foot. Walk yourself around. You can bend your knees as you move around all the way to the other side. And step your back foot forward to fold. Feet are hip distance apart. Snuggle them down. Bring your hands into prayer. Thumbs support the sternum. Chest reaches forward as you come all the way up. Reach your palms in prayer above your head as you inhale. Exhale, elbows are narrow. Drop the thumbs onto the spine. Inhale, reach up. Take the hands slightly forward. In case you want to look up, you can then keep the shoulders softening down. Head is held to the back of the neck is long. Lift your heart vertically upwards. Thumbs to the heart. Spill yourself forward. Softening the knees. Fingertips come to the floor. Step back with your right toes. Lower your back knee down onto the earth. Come onto the tips of the fingers. Float your left arm up into a twist. Fingertips come down inside of the foot. Pivot on the knee so the shin is parallel to the top edge of the mat. Leaning into that left knee, right arm rises. Engage your core to come up enough to place the elbow inside of the knee, palms into prayer. Opening up the arms once again. Fingertips come to the floor. Fingertips either side of the front foot. Pivot on the knee, back toes to tuck. Lift your front toes. Keep a bend in the knee. Adha Hanumanasana, half Hanumanasana, split pose. Walking yourself back onto the foot. Lift the back knee, slide that foot back into a high plank. Your choice of vinyasa or no vinyasa at all. Lowering the knees if you're following me. Chest and forehead, slide the legs away. Roll the shoulders, press the tops of the feet down, baby Cobra. Push into the hands, tuck your toes, downward facing dog. Sides of the body are beginning to lengthen. There's more space between the lower ribs and your pelvic bones. Neck is free, you could turn your head from side to side. Float the left leg up behind you. Step the foot forward in between the hands. Take the left hand to the inside of the foot. Walk yourself around towards the right foot. Glide your back foot forward to fold. Hands come into prayer underneath the sternum. Lengthen forward to come all the way up. Reach your arms up as you inhale. Exhale, little tricep stretch, thumbs to the spine. Inhale, reach up, maybe look up. Exhale, thumbs to the heart, fold to the earth. Stepping back with your left toes into your lunge, the back heel comes in and down. Right hand comes, or right elbow inside of the knee, opening up here, thumbs to the heart. Finding the length equally through both sides of your body. Opening the arms into space. Hands back into prayer. Push into the front foot. Rise up into your warrior two. Shoulders above the hips. Lifting your right pelvic bone. Take an inhale. Press the palms to the heart. Exhale. Push away. Look towards your right fingers. Inhaling. Exhaling. Inhale. Exhale. As you straighten up that front knee, turn the toes in, toes are aligned. Extend the fingers out to the sides. Beaming out from your navel, take an inhale, exhale, bend your left knee. This right hand is going to turn the way that you're twisting. So fingers are pointing back, little finger edge of the hand inside of the foot. Anchor through the outer edge of that right foot. Breathing here. Pressing down to come up. Exhale, bending the right knee. Left fingertips turn around, little finger edge of the hand comes inside of the foot. Anchor to the outer edge of your straight leg foot. Breathe. And come all the way back up. Let's swivel around towards your left foot. Back heel comes up. Turn the palms up, reach the arms up by your ears. Exhale, thumbs to the heart. Start to come forward and twist without making contact to begin with. So the elbows hovering above the knee, reaching beyond the knee even. You might like to stay here, or you could make contact. If you're making contact, be cautious not to yank yourself around here. No pushing, no pulling. Release the fingertips to the floor. Take a little hamstring stretch as you begin to straighten the front leg. Underneath side of the body lengthens over the thigh. Rebend the knee. Soften your back knee and glide your back foot forward to fold. Bring the toes in line. Let yourself hang. Thumbs come underneath the sternum, reaching forward with the heart as you come all the way up. Reach your prayer towards the sky. Elbows narrow, drop your thumbs onto the spine. Exhale. Inhale, reach up, maybe look up. Exhale, thumbs to the heart. Start to make your way forward. Take the fingertips to the earth. Step back with your right toes. Lower your back heel in and down. Left elbow comes inside of the knee. As you open up the chest, thumbs to the heart. Make contact there. Opening your arms in space. Hands come back into prayer. Push into that foot as you rise up into your warrior two. Take an inhale, press the palms together. Exhale, push them away. Inhaling. Exhaling. Inhale. Exhale, straightening up the knee, turning the toes in, extending the fingers of the wrists along. Reach out as you inhale, exhale, bend your right knee. Fingers turn. Again, hand or fingertips of the floor inside of the foot. Maybe as you exhale, you straighten the leg. Inhale, bend the knee. Then come back up. Inhaling, exhaling. Left knee bends, hand comes inside. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, bend. Inhale, come back up. So we try that one more time. So one breath, one movement. Exhaling. Inhaling. Exhale. Use both legs to come back up. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Swivel yourself around towards your right foot. Make sure the back heel arrives all the way up. Bring your pelvic bones square towards the front, raising the arms as you inhale. Hands into prayer, exhale, twist towards that front knee, elbows hovering. Elbow reaches forward of the knee. Pulling the right hip back in space. You might like to stay here. You may like to make contact with the elbow on the knee or the thigh without yanking yourself around. Just for stability. Take the fingertips to the floor. Begin to straighten that front leg. Whatever is available to you without force. Re-bend the knee. And step that foot back into a high plank. Vinyasa of choice. And this may change as you practice. Keep tuning into what it is you need. What it is you need a little bit more of. What it is you need a little bit less of. And back into your downward facing dog. And starting to take the weight out of the shoulders, up into the hips and down into the legs. So your down dog may feel a little bit more evenly weighted. Walk your feet forward towards the backs of the wrists. Hands into prayer underneath the sternum, coming all the way up to standing. Reaching up as you inhale, exhale, thumbs onto the spine. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, thumbs to the heart as you bow to the earth. Release the fingertips, release the head. Step back with your left toes. Back heel comes in and down, right elbow inside of the knee. As you take your hips backwards, you might be straightening your front leg and moving into a Trikanasana. The longest finger comes to the floor. You probably need to adjust your hip a little bit. You might want it to be higher. Reaching out in all directions, rooting down through both legs. Coming up here, pushing into both feet. Take the right arm up by your ear. Swivel yourself around towards your left foot. Swivel up the back heel. Shift the weight forward. And could you pick up that back foot? Take a hold of the heel. Opposite hand to foot. Not easy, I know. My supporting leg is bent. So step back with that foot. Right arm rises. Take the right fingertips to the floor. Circle that left arm back and up. Twisted lunge. Continue with that hand, take it all the way to the floor and slide the front foot back into a high plank. Step the feet together. Left hand comes a little bit closer towards the midline of your mat. Spin the heels towards the left, stack the ankles. Right arm rises, Vashisthasana. Lift away from the earth. If this feels too much, you can take the foot onto the floor in front of your knee. Take the hand back to the floor. Pivot yourself around. Lift your hips into a down dog. You could hold your down dog, drop down into a child's pose, or take a vinyasa. They're all good options. Choose the option that's right for your body right now. meet one another once again in down dog. You walk the feet forward towards the backs of the wrists. Take the hands, thumbs underneath the sternum as you reach forward to come up. Reach your prayer towards the sky. Drop the thumbs towards the sternum. Exhale. Inhale, reach up, maybe look up. Exhale, thumbs to the heart. Spill to the earth. Step back with your right toes. Back heel comes in and down. Left elbow inside of the knee. Taking your hips back, begin to open into your Trikanasana. Choose the height that allows the release through the spine and a spaciousness across the sacrum. Breathing here, allowing this pose to gently reveal itself. And use both legs to come up. The left arm comes up by your ear. Now pivot around towards the right. Front knee stays bent. Reach out. A bit more space here. Pick up your back foot. If you have a wall, you can take your fingertips on the wall, no problem. Heel to sit bone. Opposite hand to foot. Step back with the foot. Left arm rises. Float the left fingertips to the floor. Right arm reaches back. Rises vertically. Take the hand all the way over. Slide your right foot back. High plank. Feet together. Right hand a little closer towards the midline of your mat. Spin your heels to the right, stack the ankles. Left arm rises. Lift away from the earth. Foot might want to come onto the floor in front of you for a bit more support. And comes back to the floor. Swivel yourself back around. Lift your hips into a down dog. Vinyasa, down dog. We're going to lower down onto the knees, untuck the toes. Child's pose of your choice. Couple of breaths here. Making the transition from the more active part of our standing poses to coming a little closer to the earth. Take the hands by the jawline. Use your hands to lift your chest. Bring the knees together, sink the hips to one side and stretch your legs forward. Got a hip distance between your heels. Walk from sit bone to sit bone, allowing the flesh of the buttocks to organize itself. Let's bring the right foot up here. So right foot comes to the floor. It's about a hand's distance away from your inner thigh, between foot and leg here. Might be the knee actually. Take the left fingertips behind you. Right upper arm or elbow comes inside of the knee. Squeeze the knee towards the elbow to create an open twist. Let's watch that straight leg stays with the toes pointing upwards. Planting the back hand down as you roll towards your outer left foot. Come up onto the ball of your right foot and shade the side of your face with your arm. Inhale. As you exhale, come back down, square your shoulders towards the front. Maybe 2 more times. Inhaling. Exhaling. Inhale. Exhale. Reaching your right arm up, circle it behind you. Turn the fingers forward, palms are flat. Come up onto the ball of your right foot so the heel is lifted. Lifting your hips as if you're trying to press a button with your left big toe. Pelvic bones are level. If you want to drop your head back here, tuck your chin in, roll it back slowly. Please never just let it fall backwards without control. Head is heavy, your neck is precious. We'll stay looking forward and release yourself down. Excellent. Slide that right leg away. Come onto the tips of the fingers, walk your sit bones back. Maybe come forward like a little wave. Exhale. And then inhale, roll up and flip onto the back, onto the hands and palms of the hands. Again, inhaling, waving forward. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Maybe one more time. Inhaling. Exhaling. Inhale. Exhale. So turn around so you don't have my back. We'll move on to the second side. Sliding your left foot up, left foot onto the floor. About a hand span away from the straight leg. Right fingertips behind, left upper arm inside of the knee, taking an open twist. Squeezing the knee in, so that sense again of gathering from the peripheral to the midline. Backhand comes to the floor, spin onto the outer edge of the foot, ball of the left foot, arm slides over. Exhaling, calming back down, turning the toes up. Inhale. Exhale. One more time, inhale. Exhale. Reaching your left arm up, circle the hand behind you. Fingers are going to turn forward. Come up onto the ball of your left foot. As you press through the hands, lift the hips. Press the button with your right big toe. Pelvic bones are level. Tuck the chin in if you're going to roll your head back into the cushion of your trapezius muscles or stay looking forward. Bring the chin towards the chest and release yourself down. Stretching the left leg forward. Walk on towards the fence of your sit bones. Palms may be face up. Start to wave yourself forward. Now you might need to bring your arms in front of you here. Take a hold of the shins or the ankles. You might be upright here in your Paschimottanasana. It's a little bit more flexible. You could try keeping the palms up today and letting the shoulders roll around and down. Wherever you are is where you are. No judgment. No wishing things were any other way than the way that they are right now. Make our way slowly up out of this. You're going to come onto your back, so bending the knees, sit bones towards the heels, and release yourself down. Let's draw the knees towards the chest. Take a little rock across the sacrum from side to side. Bringing the knees together and flexing the feet. Take a hold of the elbows, framing the crown of your head. Spread the toes. As you exhale, could you flip the forearms over the shins, lift yourself up, curl yourself into a little seed. Inhale, release the head down, forearms are just rising vertically. Exhale, take your knees to the right, your arms to the left. Take it back through to the center. They don't need to come to the floor here. Exhale, knees to cheeks, arms to the cobra. Release the tailbone, release your head, arms rise vertically. Knees to the left, arms to the right. And come back. One more time each side. Exhale. Squeeze in. Inhale. Knees to the right, arms to the left. Left foot to the center. Exhale. Squeeze in. Inhale. Knees to the left, arms to the right. Back through to the center. Place the feet to the floor. Hip distance apart. Let your forearms come over your head. Scoot the shoulder blades down the back. Release the elbows. Reach your forearms out. Reach your fingertips towards the back wall. And then slide your arms back so the hands may be brushing the earth as your arms come down by your sides. You can move back to our starting position with the feet wide, knees dropping in to touch one another. Nice if you need to create a bit of softness and space in the lower back. Or you may wish to stretch your legs out, letting the toes flop out to the side. Make sure that you're warm, and comfortable, and undisturbed for the last few minutes of your practice. Just watching the breath for a few rounds, allowing that to be like a mantra. Just taking you down. Gently guiding your awareness back to your body and your breath. Just notice how still you have become. Take a few fuller inhalations as you prepare to rejoin your day. And the eyes closed.
Make some little movements, wiggle fingers, wiggle toes, or if you need a bigger stretch, you can reach your arms overhead and maybe even hug your knees in towards you. Take your time, there's no hurry here. When you're ready, you can roll yourself over to the right side. Pause here for a moment or two. Allow your nervous system to adjust. And when you're ready, slowly make your way back to a comfortable seat, whatever that is for you. And close our practice with the hands in prayer position by the heart. Bow the forehead towards the tips of the fingers. And gently open your eyes here. Stay here until you feel centered, grounded, and back inside your body. And when you're ready, you can gently raise your gaze. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining me this lunchtime. Have a peaceful day. Go gently. Take care of yourselves. Take care.